Hello, my name is Kelsey and welcome to Becoming Home, a channel encompassing crafting, cooking, decor tips, organization tricks, and DIY projects. Since it's Easter weekend, I wanted to show you a simple and wonderful way to decorate your Easter eggs. These marbled eggs can be used in a variety of different ways this Easter and can also be saved for future Easter celebrations. First, grab your supplies. You'll want at least a dozen eggs and nail polish, as many bottles and colors as your heart desires. I went with a monochromatic design and picked a light blue and dark blue. You'll need nail polish remover for any emergencies and also for cleanup. Grab some tape and sharp implements. I gathered a push pin, nail, and seam ripper. Use whatever you have on hand. Push the pin through the bottom and top of the egg. Then use incrementally larger implements to make the holes bigger. I started using my pin, then the nail, then the seam ripper, but I found that the nail wasn't accomplishing much. I ended up skipping the nail but adding a toothpick. The toothpick was also very useful for breaking up the yolk. Once you have your holes the size you want them, use your toothpick to break up the yolk and egg white. Push the toothpick in and out of the egg repeatedly. I also threw in some circular motions to really break up the insides of the egg. Place your mouth over one end of the egg and blow the contents through the hole in the other side. This can be a little tricky to get right. The first time I tried, nothing came out. There's a knack to how much pressure to use and how to place your mouth over the hole, but after a couple of eggs you'll figure it out and the rest of the process will be much easier. After the egg is empty, run water through it and rinse out the remaining contents. I placed my finger over the bottom hole and let the egg fill up a little, then shook it and blew out the water. Repeat this process with your remaining eggs. There are alternative methods you can use to blow out your eggs, like straws or syringes, but I used the simplest tool I had on hand, myself. I haven't tried the other methods, so I can't attest to their effectiveness or ease of use. I can tell you this: blowing out eggs is difficult and your jaw will start to hurt. You may even get a headache. You can hard boil your eggs instead, but you can't save them for next year, and they can be a little smelly. I think the effort it takes to blow out your eggs is worth it, to be able to save the beautiful results for future years and projects. You may say, now wait a minute, you mentioned tape in the beginning, but I haven't seen you use it. The idea behind the tape is to prevent the eggs from cracking too much when you push through the shell. I found I didn't have this issue, so I stopped using tape after the first couple of eggs. What you would do is place a small piece of tape on the bottom and top of the eggs before making the holes. This would definitely be helpful if your eggs had fragile shells. You would then remove the tape before marbling the eggs. Place your eggs on top of a paper towel and microwave them on high for 30 seconds. This dries off any remaining water and egg insides and also makes the shells stronger. You could bake the eggs in the oven instead, but this takes longer and uses more energy, so why not use the microwave? Let your eggs cool slightly before handling them, as they will be hot. For the marbling process, you need a bowl of room temperature water. If the water is too cold, the nail polish will just sink to the bottom. Use a container you don't mind throwing away, because you may not be able to prevent your container from also becoming marbled. Use the nail polish brush to pour the nail polish into your bowl. When I poured directly from the bottle, the nail polish just sank. You want the polish to spread out on the surface of the water. Use as many or as few colors as you like. It all depends on the look you're going for. If you want to completely cover the egg in color, pour more polish onto the surface. I wanted the white to show through, so I didn't completely cover the surface with polish. Use a toothpick or skewer to swirl the colors together. This also creates fun patterns on the surface of the water that will transfer onto your egg. Poke the skewer through the holes on your egg. For this first egg, I rolled the egg across the surface of the water without submerging it. This resulted in a thick, cakey surface on the egg. It also left a very obvious line on one end of the egg. I decided to submerge my next egg and liked the results much better. I used the egg carton as my drying rack. I poked the other end of the skewer through the styrofoam to let it dry. This meant I didn't have to get fingerprints on the eggs or mar the finish. Use a skewer to gather all the old polish off the surface of the water. I found that using the old polish resulted in more clumps and ridges, which made the eggs look messy. I would only do 2 eggs before changing out the polish. Sometimes I would only do 1. After all, that gives you more opportunity to try out different combinations of colors or amounts of polish. I love the fact that every egg will be different and unique. The nail polish reacts differently on the surface of the water, and different colors also seem to react with each other. It's a lot of fun to see all the different variations and to play with the patterns and colors. When I finished the dozen, I wished I had more eggs on hand so that I could keep going. With this egg, you'll see me submerge it beneath the surface of the water. This resulted in a smoother, more natural looking finish. You can also semi-control where you want the colors to go. You'll see I twist the egg underneath the water and move it over so that I can bring it up under the polish. I love how simple this one turned out, with the light blue background and that wonderful bright splotch of dark blue. Repeat this process until you've marbled all your eggs. If you don't have skewers on hand, you can hold the ends of the egg between your thumb and finger and submerge the egg this way. Be warned, you will end up getting nail polish on your fingers. The ends of the eggs may not get as much color on them as desired and may look messy from your fingertips. A large pair of tweezers or small pair of tongs could also be effective tools to use. Be creative and use what you already have. What I love about this project is that it's inexpensive, but it has big decorative impact. Eggs are not pricey, and if you blow out the contents, they will last you years. Just make sure you store them carefully so they don't get crushed. You also don't need to buy expensive nail polish. The cheapest kind will work and still deliver amazing colors and results. The egg carton I used for my drying rack was simple and what I had on hand, but it was also a little rickety. Next time, I will probably cut off the top so it doesn't overbalance, and also place some heavy objects on either end of the carton to keep it steady when I push the skewers through the styrofoam. Another important tip is, don't buy eggs with markings on them. You may have noticed that all my eggs have little red EBs on the ends. Some of these got covered up by the polish, but because I went with a simple design, a lot of them show through. I don't usually buy the Eggland's Best brand, but they were on sale for cheaper than the store brand, and I didn't think about it until I got home and started marbling my eggs. Silly mistake. Especially if you go through all the trouble of blowing out the eggs so that you can keep them. You don't want them to have markings on them. So open the carton in the store and check before you buy them. But hey, now I have a valid excuse to do this project again. I really enjoy the creative and abstract process of this project. I love all the different swirls and lines and splotches. I also love that with the submerging method, the eggs have a wonderful smooth finish that looks very natural, classy, and simple. Different types of polish might react differently, with surprising and creative results. If you try this project, definitely let me know how your eggs turned out in the comments below. Marbled eggs are a great way to decorate your table for Easter. You can use them as your centerpiece or accent your plate settings. You can hide these marbled eggs for an Easter egg hunt or entertain kids by having them create their own. You can fill a clear vase with eggs and use it to decorate a mantle or entryway table. If you have a particular color scheme in mind, you can marble your eggs to match. However you use them, these marbled eggs are a pretty and eye-catching addition to your Easter decor. Now before you run out and grab your supplies, hit the subscribe button. If you need an idea for Easter lunch, watch this video to learn how to make my favorite potato casserole. You can read my blog by clicking the link below. Be sure to check back in every Friday for new inspiring ideas and tutorials. Thanks for watching this video and happy Easter!